Hello, I'm Tan, the TamBoTC channel, and let's talk about these last couple of games. We're at number 6, and number 6 is Halo, but which one? The first Halo was very classic in its look and design. The second, I'll talk about the second one. Second one is my choice, by the way. The third one was really fun. I love the addition of Forge mode. The multiplayer is the best in the series, probably. For anybody who loves Halo. I do have problems with the story because I feel that the stories got, like, I hated how they treated Sergeant Johnson. They replaced some of the actors too. Sergeant Johnson was like, oh, you're weak and pathetic, and it's like, okay, that I don't believe that because he's not weak as demonstrated in the other games. It's kind of mean. I hate that. And the fact that he gets killed off by one of the most annoying characters in the series is really stupid to me. I hated it. But level design and just the fun factor, I also hated that they didn't have much like development between Arbiter and Chief. That kind of sucked. Arbiter didn't really have any moments in that game, but he had some good moments, just not as many. And of course there's memorable lines too, like where it's so easy. And then of course I just liked I think, and then Halo Reach. Another thing is, like, I know that there's complaints about like Halo, some people have complained about Halo kind of bringing on a lot of the problems we see today, where there's a lot of the modern stuff that's being done in a in Halo, like Halo kind of feels like it's losing its identity, and I agree with the later games, as well as it's like kind of started a lot of the trends we start seeing now with like stuff like the cover system and such, which is I'm fine with. There's like a charm and a classic look to Halo 1. It's just, I love the use of Master Chief that they kind of get rid of in the later games, where they give him more voice acted lines and disconnect the player from the character, because the character is supposed to be kind of connected as if like the player is Master Chief rather than Master Chief being his own separate identity or character. They kind of get rid of that in 4 and 5 and such, but and I think 3 kind of is what started the creepy relationship between Master Chief and Cortana. It's just really weird to me. But it's just some problems with its story. Reach had problems with its story as well, where like the characters were very little in development and such, and I just didn't find the game quite as memorable as say, thinking, I wonder if the game can hear me if I turn on the, yeah, that's supposed to look like the ship, I guess. That symbol. Let's skip this cutscene. We've seen it before.
Seeks and Comms is in the Systex Spire. It's quite a distance, but we can get to transit through the freighter.
But yeah, I really enjoy the Halo series as a whole. 5 is the worst. 4 and 5 kind of feel like the recent Star Wars films, if I'm using those again, where they kind of like 4 sets up some cool things, but 5 ruins it all. It's funny because Locke's actor is acted so much better in the show they had, but in the actual game he was so stale and bland.
Who are you?
I'm John. This is Ringo. You're just some assholes. We haven't got time for this. Come on, Jana.
Oh, that was weird of the sound.
Can you help us?
We don't need their help. Don't tell them anything. Look, I've got the elevator working. Jana, let's go, okay?
I'm sorry. Good luck.
They're going to kill us later. But yeah, it's like...
What the hell was that about? Why are you so damn aggressive?
But Halo 4, I did kind of like the story. I enjoyed the character development and such, but I don't think it's Halo to me. I didn't care about stuff like the mantises. The multiplayer's got some balancing issues, as well as it's just not a good multiplayer. Um, I didn't like the Prometheans. I felt they were very lifeless. Whenever you put bot enemies, same with Gears of War, it just kind of makes it very generic. I find the organic like enemies such as more lifeless, more not lifeless, but with more life, personality, kind of like a Flood had a lot more personality and such. Also, where's Gravemind's boss fight in 3? That's another thing I didn't even touch on.
What are you waiting for?
Yeah, I'm waiting for the indication to press it, you dink. But yeah, sticking Halo 5 had poor character development, poor AI, really short game, even to the point there's a level where all you do is walk around and talk. Very, very underwhelming too, because they have such a lack of using Master Chief and Arbiter. It's such a crime that they underuse them. And the advertisements for the game felt like false advertising. It was really bad. And the actual fight scene with Locke and Master Chief was really lame and downgraded to a very small, pathetic fist fight cutscene instead of like something you actually interact with. Like if Locke kicked my butt in like an actual fight with him, I'd be more okay with that, but this is not even an interactable fight. It's just that it made it to a restricted cutscene. Like, I'd be fine if Locke was able to kick my butt in a actual, like, I was interacting with the fight. But since I wasn't, it sucks. As well as it's just executed poorly.
Get down! This is bullshit, man. You should be looking for a way off.
I wonder what happens if I just stand there.
There's no way off. At least we're safe down here.
But I really enjoyed Halo 2. Halo 2 had the best character development. I know people hate how it ended on a cliffhanger, but we wouldn't get 3 in Forge mode without it. Reach had a lot of lack of character development to it, and like it was basically Star Wars Rogue One and stuff, except it was one of the first ones to do that. Kind of like everybody dies thing, except for June, even though we never really see June anymore. I think he's in the books. I hate how the games later need you to know the lore and story of the books in later games. Reach is probably one of the first ones to do that, but not quite as badly as 4 and 5, where they require you to know the books to know what's going on in parts.
Someone should be doing something.
But
It's called surviving.
Halo 2 had the best character development, showed you the side of both the UNSC with Master Chief and Arbiter from the Covenant. I loved the direction the story took. The villains were very memorable. The acting, music, and story was great. It was such a good music with Breaking Benjamin and Steve Vai doing the Mjolnir mix. So good. So good, but I feel like it's going to copyright me if I use it, if I record it. But yeah, I love, and especially like I love Halo 2's original looks got that kind of charm to it too, with the original that 1 has, where it's very classic looking and there's just a charm to the design. But it's got some problems with like textures and stuff. But I still love it. I still love its look. There's something charming about it. I'm ready. Wait, where's the thing you're telling me about? Where was it? That's not there. Trying to find it. Hold on. There it is. I really enjoyed Halo 2. Halo 2 was so much fun. And it was another game that I connected with my family where we played so much of it. I hate that the later games also get rid of not only change the art style that I hate now, but also like they remove like split screen co-op and stuff like stinking the playable elites and such. It's just kind of sad. And ODST invented Firefight. I think Reach perfected it or made it better. I love that you can play an elite and mess with your friends and stuff. It's pretty dope. Oh yeah.
How about you look around? We're not going anywhere until you find that vent.
But yeah, I really enjoyed I really enjoyed Halo 2. Halo 2 is awesome. But yeah, I love Halo 2 so much. I've spent a lot of time with it. I love its level layout. Love its multiplayer. I have a lot of fun. The Anniversary Edition is probably my favorite as it finally gets like the art style right, and I love it. Because there's a lot of lighting and like generic looks to the new remaster Anniversary of Halo 1. It's not bad, but they mess with things like the sound effects and such, and the lighting, and just the look of certain areas kind of feel generic. I love some of the backgrounds better in the original Halo 1 as well. Just really cool. But I just like the style of the original, and I love 2. 2 is my favorite by far because of that character development and such, and the fun factor of it. I know there's some broken weapons. I think the Needler's broken, such, but it's just such a fun game, and I do love what the Anniversary version adds to the game, more so in the multiplayer and such. Master Chief Collection won't count though, because that's all the games. If I said that, that would be cheating. I look forward to, but cautiously, to Halo Infinite. I don't know if it'll be that great, and especially first impressions don't have me as excited. But yeah, I still have fun with it, nonetheless. So, hopefully I'll have fun with Stan. Halo Infinite. So number 5 will be Half-Life. Oh, by the way, in Halo 6, I hate the direction that they're taking with making Cortana the villain, and possibly because of the legendary ending, her being the controlled by Guilty Spark, which is just like, it's like bringing back Jar Jar in Rise of Skywalker instead of Palpatine. It's like, what? So dumb.
What's the emergency?
But yeah, I hated that game for so much that it did. It's so wrong. Let's get in here. Alright, they didn't hear me. What difficulty am I on? So, number 5 has got to be Half-Life, but which one? I love the extra, like the expansions, the Half-Life and such.
How did it end up like this?
Who's there? Doesn't seem to be broken. How would you know, Einstein?
If the generator had blown, there'd be smoke.
Well, it's not working now. Maybe the safety got tripped.
Could have been a rodent.
Nice
Stuck
work,
here and set off the safety.
This way.
A rat.
Let's keep it down. They're still close by. Follow me.
Okay. Save. I don't know what difficulty we're on. Half-Life 1's just like Halo 1, where it's such a classic game. I have a lot of fun with it. I love the body physics and stuff in it. It's such a funny game too. I love the direction of the story and characters. I have a lot of fun with the game in general. And then I love all the additional like mods and versions of it too. It's such cool additions. But I'm going to go with Half-Life 2, and I know Half-Life episode 1 and 2, and I love like how amazing and immersive Half-Life Alyx is. It's a great addition. I'm glad it exists, and it's so innovative in how it approaches VR. But I love Half-Life 2. It's the longest of the episode versions, where 2 is still great, but also has one character that I didn't really care for that was introduced in it a little too late. And I also I liked the story and characters better in 2. In episode 1, I love the development between Half-Life with Alyx and Gordon, but with Half-Life
Okay.
With Half-Life 2, there's just more game. It's such an immersive, interesting world. They do the silent protagonist well. I love the direction the story's taking, and the story and like cliffhanger that stinking
Three.
that the new game,
Behind.
the episode 2 takes was very immersive and made it so people really wanted a
Get here now.
stinking
Fuck.
I think you kind of have to do that, sadly, but at least I didn't kill him.
We need to go.
Because I want the achievement where, like, you don't kill anybody. I'm stuck on you, run.
I think he's dead. They killed him.
Go, Axel, you idiot. But yeah, I love Half-Life 2. It's so nostalgic for me. Me and my brother were such big fans and really wanted a Half-Life 3 for the longest time. I love it. It's such a good game. I love its story, its characters, the direction it takes, the gameplay, the puzzles, the physics, the music. Everything was great. I just loved everything about it. It's just a perfect game. And it still ages really well, and its looks and even its animations are still really good. I'm surprised by them. It's so engaging with its characters and such. I love the use of the gravity gun, such a great addition. And I love the new characters. Eli Vance is my favorite. I was sad because he's played by the guy who played the butler in Soap. Love that actor. That guy is so awesome. And it's just so sad to see that he passed away a couple years back. And he wasn't able to do his role again. But I can imagine if he came back, it would be just such a surprise. I love the direction they take the story too. It's surprising with Alex, Half-Life Alex. And the new actors just do such a good job of the characters and treating them with respect. There we go. Alright, I don't know what difficulty this is on, by the way, so... Yeah, Half-Life 2, number 4 is Dark Souls, but which one? This is hard. I wanted to put Bloodborne because that is the game I come back to quite a bit and I want more of, and I love its DLC, I love the game and its atmosphere. Same with the Dark Souls games, they all have brilliant atmosphere, but I think while I should pick Dark Souls 1, Dark Souls 2 is clearly the weakest, but there is a lot of, like, I had a lot of fun, I had a lot of connections with friends and such. My grandmother wasn't too fond of the Dark Souls games just because I had a lot of stress and anger issues that those games didn't make it any better on her her life, hearing me complain. But I'm so glad that I'm a lot better with the games and I actually can get good with the Souls games for the most part. Sekiro has kind of challenged me and is probably my least favorite of the From Software games, if I'm being honest. Even 2 I'd return to more, but I have to admit there are aspects of Sekiro that are really strong. But other than that, I didn't like Sekiro as much. Let's save. But yeah, it's thinking Dark Souls 3 is probably my favorite because it takes the good of both Dark Souls 1 and Bloodborne, mixes them together, and makes its own unique world. I love that sense of discovery, its development, the development of the characters, but it's so cryptic and dark. I love the black and white story that it creates, but it's got more endings than most of the Souls games. I just love everything about it. Its world, its lore, its detail, its music, its atmosphere. So good, so good. A lot of the same reasons I love singing Silent Hill. Such a good game. Such a brilliant game. But yeah, it's really good.
Shit. Guys, over here. Someone's here.
I love the game. But like Dark Souls 3 was the one that was like, even though I love Solaire and such, I do still love Dark Souls 3's characters and such. Most of the bosses I love. Both the first and last boss are actually genuinely good. Where the same with Bloodborne. But Dark Souls 1, I think that the last and first boss, as well as if we count in the Izalith area or whatever, or the area with Bit of Chaos, like there are quite a few terrible bosses in that game, if I'm being honest with that, compared to 3. 3 has a lot of good bosses, and I do love every single one, the atmosphere in the world. The graphics really hold up. The remaster kind of let some people down, but I don't mind it to the first Dark Souls. It's just so hard to say, like, I think Dark Souls 1 should be my favorite, but I like Dark Souls 3 more. And those DLCs, the first one kind of stumbled a bit on its face. It's not bad, and I still enjoyed it, but the second one was so good, and I love it. Just excellent, and definitely worth your money. Especially with how much you get out of it. It's just as much, if not more, just because there's 2 DLCs this time around that give you enough content compared to... It's only like $5 more, and it has like 2 or 3 extra bosses and such. So I think there's plenty going on with Dark Souls 3. It's got plenty of content. But yeah, I had a lot of fun with Dark Souls 3. It's probably my personal favorite of the bunch. So I hope you guys are enjoying the list so far, that I'm not too boring for you or anything like that. I hope what you're getting out of this, that you're having fun with the gameplay, even though in some of them I do very little because I like being able to focus on what I'm saying.
Do you really want to take that chance?
Okay. We find her and kill her. Did anyone else catch that?
Listen up. Got an intruder.
Crap, they saw me.
Some bullshit.
Barely see somebody over there. It's hard to see people. Alright. So, let me just look at the list. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Dark Souls 3. I love Dark Souls 1, absolutely, and Dark Souls 2 isn't as bad. Like, even the worst Dark Souls is still really great, like 8 out of 10. With the reused assets and really awful boss battles, I still really enjoy it. And then number 3, I have at number 3, where's number 3? That was number 4, right? Yeah. Number 3 has to be... Where's my number 3? There it is, The Legend of Zelda. This is my favorite Nintendo franchise, is the Legend of Zelda series. Hopefully there's nobody coming up behind me. But, can't tell if there's somebody back there. But The Legend of Zelda is such a good series. I love every game. Like, I think the handhelds aren't my favorites. I love Link of the Past. That was one I grew up with. It just lives up to the classic aesthetic of the original. I love Zelda 1 and 2. So great. Actually really enjoyed 2. Most liked it better than the first one, but the first one's got a charm to it as well.
Place falls apart more every day.
Is that near me? Can't tell. Oh boy, this is hard. But yeah, I love each of the Zelda games. Zelda Ocarina of Time is just so like iconic and has so many like amazing scenes. It's kind of like the Lord of the Rings, like the definitive fantasy game you think of. And it's always like given 10s and known as like the best game of all time. I love it. Absolutely. And it's got its great like dark moments too. And I love Ganondorf in it. It's so good. But I think, so I also love like Link's Awakening. I got to play the remake, which was awesome too. Ow! No! Hey. Kinda wanted to die anyways because I messed up so badly. It was getting impossible. I'm gonna pour a drink as well. So, because my mouth is getting dry after talking so much. And so kind of sore. Not really, but I don't want it to get worse. Not sponsored. You don't even know what kind of soda it is anyways. But when it comes to it, I just love the Zelda series. It's such a strong fantasy series. I love the characters. I love the worlds. I love Twilight Princess. It's dark, and I love Wind Waker. It's kind of like it's very colorful, lighthearted, but it has its moments too. They're both excellent games. Wind Waker a little bit more than Twilight Princess. I love stinking Skyward Sword. I thought it was an underrated game. It's really important to the story and lore of the series, but I wouldn't say it's better than most of them. I really enjoy the dungeons, even if they go on too long. I love the puzzles. They're just so awesome for the dungeon aesthetics. And I think Breath of the Wild kind of comes full circle to what the original game was, where it like just lets you out in the world. It's almost kind of like an open world, and like the stuff you have to figure out is kind of impossible to figure out. But Breath of the Wild, there's just so much unique stuff to how you can play. The variety, just everything to Breath of the Wild is just so unique. People like Arlo and all the really good like players that you can see doing crazy stuff in that game. There's just so much variety to the gameplay. And the same said for Majora's Mask because of the use of the items with the combination of the masks. And I love the side quests, the dungeons, the gameplay variety thanks to the masks, the bosses, how dark it is. I love dark stuff. It's like if Tim Burton or I can't remember what I thought of. I thought of something before, but it's like it also doesn't use the same villain and princess again. It's just mainly focused on Link, and it's in the same universe. So yeah, it uses a lot of assets, and yeah, I know the time mechanic might tick off some people, but it is very useful to kind of like managing time, like in real life. It can kind of help you to manage time between like certain things, say chores or something. And I love the quests in the game. They're so in-depth and great and dark in that kind of Tim Burton-esque way, like Tim Burton in his prime. It's kind of the same thing. I love Batman Returns because of its dark setting. Kind of like Twilight Princess has the same thing. A lot of the Zeldas, even Breath of the Wild is very dark. The Hyrule Warrior games I don't count because they're mostly kind of like Dynasty Warriors. But I love that they have kind of an interconnected universe now because of the new Hyrule Warriors with Breath of the Wild, and I can't wait for the sequel, which I hope fixes a lot of things. Like, the shrines are very samey and stuff. That doesn't mean that the puzzles in them and such aren't fun or great. And I do love like the elements and the different boss battles having their own elements, and that the dungeon itself is a boss battle at the start, which is pretty cool. There's a lot of variety there too, so I think there's plenty to do in the dungeons, even if they don't look all that fantastic. They are still really good. I love the characters. There's so many great characters in both Majora. Like, these are the two games going for head-to-head, by the way. Breath of the Wild and Majora's Mask, because they're so good. Technically, Breath of the Wild is a better game, but just with how Majora's Mask has held up is just really cool. I love Majora's Mask. So dark, so demented. And I do have like a personal connection, but Breath of the Wild just brought my love of games and really changed up the open world formula. It did a lot new. It's kind of like what I was saying with Metroid Prime, where it successfully, so much so, did the open world new. And there's so many, like, the problems people have, like the durability and the stamina system, you can find so many ways around certain aspects, even those, to make the game more enjoyable and thought-provoking in parts. Not thought-provoking in the way like the game's trying to be deep in its meaning, but thought-provoking in like putting your brain to things, kind of like if you're playing a Portal or a Myst game, you're really thinking about what you're doing. It's kind of like the world is a puzzle, and like you have to figure things out on your own. And I love the variety and the use of the outfits and different like weather environments and stuff. It's really cool and unique. I love it. Love every aspect of the game. Playing with one hand, by the way. But I really love...
Stay back. Shit.
Okay.
Guys, over here.
But yeah, Breath of the Wild is so good. It's like, even if you watch like Dave Control and what beat 'em ups and such has to say about the game, there's just so much to the game. And even Radical Soda recently, like, this game, like, I can't believe, like, nowadays we don't have many games like Breath of the Wild. It's just so unique, and its realism is even better than Red Dead 2's in many ways. I've seen like comparison videos, and it's just amazing what Breath of the Wild can do that Red Dead hasn't fully like realized or done better even. And yet I think Red Dead's the newer game of the two. I can't wait to see the sequel. I'm very hyped, but at the same time, like, I'm hoping that they don't mess up things. Maybe the dungeons will be much better, and the story looks like it's going in an absolutely awesome direction. I love it. Such a good game. So I think I'm picking Breath of the Wild. I'd definitely pick Majora's Mask. It's very close, because Majora's Mask is just so unique and refreshing for its time. And I love that it's not Ganondorf again, which could be a problem with the new Zelda game, but I still love this Breath of the Wild. It's just crazy insane how like in-depth and great it is, but so is Majora's Mask. But I always come back to Breath of the Wild and find new stuff in that game, where I can at least see like why somebody might be turned off by Majora's Mask, but it's still great. And if you say like the gameplay is very simple in Breath of the Wild, there's a lot more to it than you'd think, you know. It's just so in-depth once you get to know it. I was surprised that like Horizon Zero Dawn kind of went against it. It's still a great game, Horizon Zero Dawn, but man, it doesn't even touch Breath of the Wild and all this ridiculous stuff you can do in that game. Just insane, the more you discover and how much you can, like, what type of stuff you can do with that game, using like freezing time and the physics of the game. As the world is your playground, it is your weapon. It is insane, and it fixes a lot of the problems people have with like the durability and such. Even Arlo touched on that stuff.
Just need to find a new data set.
And why. But yeah, I fully agree. But yeah, I really love the game. Breath of the Wild is awesome. Such a good game. I can't believe I'm kind of mad at myself for choosing it, but it's just such a brilliant game. How could you not?
This whole station's got this shit.
Feel safe? Sure as hell no.
But yeah, I'm so glad I got past that. Breath of the Wild it is. And we'll be moving on to my number 2. Oh crap. Come on, get... Ugh, you... I must have this on hard then. Man, I usually am good at that, getting past that part, even when I started this game for the channel, Let's Play. What the crud is wrong with me? Man, it's terrible today. I keep forgetting to pick this up. I'm gonna have to go and pick up something to eat, but yeah, that'll be the end of this part. So I hope you guys enjoy, like, share, and subscribe. Leave your comments below, and I will see you next time for the last 2 games. Yeah, that'll be it. Bye.